most of the people who have gone to jail and come out have been disillusioned with the whole thing. I'm not disillusioned. Frankly, I say that these are all experiences. Change can only be associated with a socialist model, but these things have to be incorporated. I've learned this from my experience. Being very resistant in fact, here the slum I went to. Yeah. I landed up here by chance. It happened to be next to where I was living, and I don't know how I landed, but I landed up there. And by coincidence, within a year or two, the Dalit Panthers movement burst out. And these are all happen to be the whole slum is Mahals, which is a Dalit caste here. And I knew nothing about caste, just as I knew nothing about racism when I went to UK. And I had to look it up. And I took it for granted that the Marxist circle, which I was in touch with, would take it, but they resisted it. They said, no, these are all lumpen elements. You can't support them. So I anyway went ahead and worked with them in the slum because this was a big center of the Panther movement. And it became, because it was a conscious youth, and I was encouraging them also. And it was located, you saw the location, it was a very convenient place for people to hide. The Didi Chowk are just across that side. And that was a main center actually, Didi Chowk. People would come here for refuge when the clashes took place. So then we debated in our circles and this and that, and there was all wishy-washiness, and people in North India, the North Indian Marxists I noticed, or even probably Bengal, I don't know much about Bengal, but I noticed the little I came in touch with where there's no social reform movement. Maharashtra has had a strong social reform movement, so has the South to some extent. Even there they have resisted taking up caste. There the totally, they said, what's caste? It's class only, they are agricultural laborers, they are not Dalit or Harijan, there they call them Harijan. So they're not this thing, they are agricultural laborers, we take up their issue. And the other day in that, we had a debate with some others and all that, and they said, no, Naxalites and Tihar have taken up the Dalit, I said, no, I know they were called the Harijan Party, in fact, the MCC out there. But the MCC themselves took up their issues because, unlike the CPI, which was also had a very strong base in Bihar, they were based amongst the Bhumihar. I was astounded to find that they were amongst the Bhumihar. The Maoist Communist Center was based amongst the so-called Harijans, and that was because of the nature of the party, I said, not because they had a caste thinking. No, they took up Ijjat ka issue and all that. They took up everything. But they said it's all a class struggle. They said there's no capacity. And that is why today Bihar is as casteist as it was, in spite of the big MCC movement and all that. We find it as casteist as maybe, or little less than UP. Because they didn't really take it up as a social issue. So that's an example of this mechanical interpretation. Maybe those caste biases are there for leadership, I don't know.
And you're no longer associated with?
No, I'm not.
So I want to ask you, I've asked you what was the toughest thing in jail, but so let's say there's a certain disillusionment.
There's a
certain disillusionment, right, with you at the moment. Was this something you battled throughout? Was this something you battled throughout? Because you wrote in the book, you said that while your wife could manage to deal with this, this ability to keep everybody who would even thought differently from her in this ability, you always ended up fighting. Was there a
See, but I don't see it as a disillusionment. At times I might have been irritated, at times I might have been dissatisfied, at times I might be this thing. But now on reflection, I see it all as part of experiences. If I did not see that or conceptualize that today, I would not be able to write these points of happiness, value systems and freedom and democracy. I don't see it as people, as individuals or as groups or organizations or parties or whatever it is. I see it as in the process of change, these things have to be incorporated. Now, if I did not see these negative aspects and I did not conceptualize, just got irritated, I said, subscribe. As I mentioned out there, I don't think, when we were outside, before the jail, Everything was just running around, this activity, that activity, this meeting, that. You really didn't have time to reflect.
Okay.
And though I felt something was wrong, there was no real time to reflect. And also in jail, to really reflect in a positive way, creatively, you have to be at peace of mind.
Yeah.
Even in jail, they wouldn't allow that. I was fortunate in the first 3 years. After that, they started shifting us from one jail to another every 2 months, 3 months. I couldn't do any thinking or writing in that period. It was just a struggle to live and to fight the authorities or whatever it was. But I was fortunate in the first 3-4 years to get that reasonable. Though there was enormous amount of tension because my first arrest and first jail experience. So that uncomfortable adjusting to that was a real problem. Tihar is quite inhuman sort of in that relationship, and but I managed to adjust to that after a little while, and the cases would just drag on. One date would be given after 4 months, 5 months, things like that. So that was really demoralizing. I mean, one got the impression one would never get out, and in that tension you can't reflect properly. But I sort of convinced myself that now I'm here for some time. After a little while, I really took the effort to do that. I have to keep my body together, properly doing yoga, doing exercises and all that, and some creative thinking. Then I started writing. I was very fortunate to get a person like the Sumit Chakravarti to be able to take all those articles. That gave some satisfaction. I mean, if you just think something and write it and no one reads it, then that sort of detracts from. I mean, you don't get that same confidence. But I was fortunate to get that. And then in those months and years, I could, then the 2G people came, so then the Kulkarni came, I could converse with them. All that atmosphere, Afzal Guru was there. He was a very intellectual sort of person and things like that. So you were able to get some new ideas like Rumi and all he introduced me to, and so many other things. And all that was at least quite a vibrant sort of reasonably to sit and reflect. I had nothing else to do. There were no other leftists in the whole jail. There were all the Islamists and Khalistanis who I was quite put off. I was able to, and I could reflect. And I was again fortunate to get access to those literature from the Tihar library.
Apparently a very eclectic library.
Yeah. I was not allowed to go there, but there was just that one young boy who was a inmate. So I don't know how I became friendly with him. He was working, he was outside, not in the highest floor. But he would bring me the literature books and all that. Bring it to it. So I just allowed me to go. It was difficult at times. I would completely lose hope. It's also there. But I would regain it reading. Papers will never stop. In the beginning, I could get magazines. My sister would send all the magazines, but papers also had a lot of information. So I would sit and make notes. That's my method of making notes and writing things. And then anything I felt, once I had diaries and diaries of notes, and topics that would really anger me or this thing, especially on economics I wrote more. But I know that subject. Then I would look at those notes and I'll be able to frame an article and write an article. So I would write the article and was fortunate to be able to set a mainstream and he would print it. And that physically I was able to reasonably sustain myself through yoga and all. And Tihar, I was lucky I had very good judges. The judges, they sent me to AIMS, to GB Pant, good public hospitals. I had my 2 cataract operations in AIMS, and they were very well done by a good doctor. And so that way the health, on health grounds, they make you mad, but on health grounds it was better than most of the jails. And not because of the jail system. The jail system would never allowed any of this. In fact, afterwards it became really tough. But because the judges I was fortunate to get good judges who would this thing. So I was able to maintain my health to some extent through yoga, but I still have this arthritis now and sciatica, both jail products. I never had it outside. And through yoga and exercises, and mentally I feel people because of this creative activity, something like